Hey there, Matt Samudio here. Welcome back. We're ready to continue with our exploration of these two distributions, Ubuntu and Slackware. So we did the Ubuntu update, and it got us rebooted with everything up to date very quickly with minimal intervention. Granted, we started out with a newer release of Ubuntu, the 17.10 from just a month ago, or not even a month ago. And we were with Slackware, we started with 14.2, which came out quite a while ago. The updates for the Slackware side here, it seemed like half the operating system was updated since then. So it took a long time. It all ran. We got prompted. We got a new kernel, so it prompted us to, to run Lilo to update the bootloader. We said yes. It did that. Looks like it went okay. Now it's telling us that we've got some new configuration files that came with updates, and we have versions of those configuration files that we have changed. So it's not going to just overwrite them unless we tell it to. So it's asking us, do we want to keep the old files and consider .new files later? Or do we want to overwrite all the old files with new ones? Probably a bad idea. Or do we want to remove all new files? That's not necessarily a great idea either, because there may be critical pieces of new configuration in some of those files that we might need to merge into our config files, because we're going to be running the new software now. So we may need to consider that. Or the last option, which is the one we're going to pick, which is prompt for each one of the new files that has changes in the old file. So we're going to select that. And it's starting out, it's telling us the IRSSI conf. Well, I know I haven't changed that. I don't care about that yet, so I'm going to overwrite that. The HTTPD-SSL, we know we haven't changed that either. We don't care. Overwrite it. The HTTP manual conf, same thing. Overwrite. We haven't done much with HTTPD on this system, so we don't care. rc.cg conf, we don't care. Don't care. Skim or whatever, it's a command line spreadsheet program. We haven't messed with it, so we don't care. Log rotate, don't care. Certificates, go ahead and overwrite that. Screen RC, don't care. Bluetooth, we don't care. We haven't messed with it. I don't know why it's actually prompting us for some of these, because we haven't changed them. Unless maybe something in the install changed them, did some kind of hardware detection or something. I don't know. We don't care. DNS mask, don't care. Config, SSHD config. This is one we care about. So we're not going to overwrite it. We could merge, which may produce, it's like an automatic merge kind of deal. It could produce something we don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep. And we're going to do a diff of that later. PHP any, we haven't messed with it. Okay, so any of those files that you feel that you have an interest in, you've made changes to them in the past and you have an interest in what's new with it, and you want to make sure that you want the new stuff, you could do what I did on the SSHD config. You could say K, which is keep, and then later go back and look at the differences. So we selected overwrite for everything except for that SSHD config. So let's go there and take a look at that. Etsy SSH, and you can see we've got an SSHD config, which is our old one, and an SSHD config, which is our .new, which is our new one. So let's do a vim diff SSHD config, SSHD config.new, and see, this is a change. You should recognize this. We did this in our video sessions. We made that change. We want to keep that change. We made this change. Allow users. We want to keep that. The new line there. There is nothing else new in the new version of the file. So we don't care. And we have confirmed that we don't care. So I'm just going to rm sshd config.new. Done. So updates are done. Let's check out a reboot and see what happens. I'm guessing it's going to kick us out of our VNC session here. So let's get ready for that, because it's gonna boot up in the lower resolution console. So VNC viewer local host 30. Okay, so we're ready for when it kicks us out. Oh, wow, interesting. Maybe it's not gonna kick us out. So our window is already bigger than it needs to be, so it's okay with that. It's not gonna kick us out. Maybe it'll kick us out. No, it liked it. Look at that. That's kind of cool. So once your window's actually bigger than it needs to be, then the video mode changes don't seem to bother it. But if we started out with the smaller window and and the boot process would reset the video mode to the larger one, that's when it kicks us out of the VNC view. So, but that didn't happen here, so we're good. So we're going to log in. We rebooted, right? So that's nice. Sudo over to root, uname -a, yeah, 4.4.88, and GNU. So this is the Libre kernel. Slack package update. It should tell us there's no change. Yeah, see, look at this. No changes in changelog between your last update and now. Do you really want to download all the other files? No, don't care. So we're up to date there. And on the Ubuntu side, apt update, and it should say that we don't have any updates pending. Yep, all packages are up to date. So now we have both systems completely up to date, and the Ubuntu side, we have 32-bit compatibility enabled. And so now when we start our package installs, first thing I want to do is I want to install I want to do these foundational packages for the 32-bit side. So copy, paste. Let's see if I can get the copy paste to work here. Copy. So I'm going to do apt. Nope, it doesn't like it. That's really, really strange. What if I highlight it and then do it? Nope, it doesn't like it. All right, so we're going to have to manually type it. The various clipboard management between all these different layers of X and VNC, and this is in a virtual machine with a VNC console, all these different clipboards, sometimes they don't always mesh together well. Install libc6 :i386. And this is how you tell Ubuntu, the apt is the Ubuntu package management program. The :i386 is how we're telling apt that we actually want to install the 32-bit versions of this in the right spot for 32-bit stuff. libc, and Ubuntu is really smart about how it separates 32-bit from 64-bit, and we added the whole 32-bit architecture in our dpackage command that we ran earlier to add that. So lib stdc ++6 :i386. So this is the C runtime, and this is the C++ runtime, standard libraries. So we're adding these just as foundational dependencies for the 32-bit side of our system. Let's go ahead and do that, and we say yes, which is nice. It's just going to do it. Okay, so it's done. And proceeding with our package selection, let's do Vim, KSH, and HTOP. So, and this is how you install packages on Ubuntu. Apt install Vim GTK. That's the package name for the GUI version of VI, or Vim. Apt install and package name. Continue, and it also installs all dependencies that are not, any dependencies that don't exist on the system, it figures that out and installs them too. So that's kind of one of the big selling points of a package management system like Ubuntu's apt is it does all that dependency resolution and backfills all the dependencies that you need for the package that you actually want to install. That's a significant convenience for lots of people. Now there's a long-standing argument on the side of kind of old school minimalist types, and I'm in this camp as well, that having tighter control on your system by not relying on automated dependency management or dependency resolution is a smarter way to go. There is a camp that believes this, and like I said, I kind of belong to that camp. I'm always a little bit. I'm still a little bit leery of an automated system managing that for me. But I'm like I had mentioned before, we're evolving to a scenario where the operating systems that we work with are becoming too crowded and too. It's a matter of scale. The immense number of separate pieces of software that have to mesh and weave together, dependency-wise, is becoming too much to manually manage. So, I still appreciate the argument that you should have a tight manual control over everything that's on your system. I still appreciate that sensibility, but I'm pretty much kind of sliding over to the other side now. I mean, I'm accepting reality here, I guess, is the way I would look at it. So Ubuntu did a bunch of stuff here. It installed a lot of dependencies, and we've got our GUI, our Vim GUI installed. Let's go on to the next one, which I believe was HTOP. It didn't even ask us. It just did it. I haven't figured out why some of these programs, when you do apt install app name, it doesn't prompt you. I haven't figured. It might be something like if there's no other dependencies, then it doesn't feel it needs to ask you because you've already called it to install the one that it's installing. So maybe if there's no dependencies, it won't ask you. But if there's any dependencies that need to be installed, then it's going to ask you to make sure that you're okay with that. Maybe that's it. I don't know for sure. That would make sense, though. So now I have HTOP. Nice. Beautiful. I like it. All right. Next. Let's do KSH and Git. And then we'll flip over to Slackware. Apt install KSH. And yes. And it's doing its thing. Looks like we're good. Git. Git is already installed. So that's what you'll hit if you already have it and it's at the newest version. So apparently Git is installed as part of a minimal Ubuntu server install. That's okay. That's pretty cool. All right, let's flip over to the Slackware side. And here, okay, let's get back. Let's figure out where we're at here. We did all this. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about console kit right now. I have a whole bunch of stuff to say about that, but it's not important for right now. Routing, don't care right now. I have some VLANs and routing that I do with my virtual machines, which we don't have to do here, so we don't have to worry about that. NTP, I'm not even going to worry about that right now. Except to say, if you want NTP in your Slackware, you have to configure it yourself. I believe it's configured by default in Ubuntu. Let's figure that out. ps-ef grep NTP. Let's see. No, it is not. Oh, I guess we'd have to set that up there too. All right, never mind. Uh, we'll do NTP later if we feel like it. Let's just move on here at this point. I think we're good. So, yeah, oh yeah, this is interesting. If if we were going to use XFCE and we want the login that we log in as to be able to reboot or shut down, we have to do this stuff in under Ubuntu, and we have to deal with polkit or polkit, policy kit. Add a rule in there, which, or no, that's in Slackware. Yeah, for Slackware we have to do that. All right, let's flip over to Ubuntu. Or I'm sorry, we need to do the package installs for Slackware that we want. So do we have a list of packages that we want to install? No. I don't keep that in my notes. And that's because I keep it somewhere else. Let me show you. Well, let's get into that. Yeah, okay, you see how easy package installs are on Ubuntu. Actually, we're getting up over 15, close to 20 minutes here on this video segment. So I'm going to end this video segment. We got through, basically most of the stuff we need to get through on the Ubuntu side in terms of comparison here. We've gotten through installing some packages. We see how that works. We may come back if we hit some more things that we need to compare. But for now, we'll leave this here for now. My next segment, I'm going to go into Slackware's package ecosystem and how you go about managing installations of packages and software on a Slackware system. Trust me, it's a lot more complicated, and not necessarily in a completely bad way, but I can definitely devote a whole video to that, or a whole video segment to that. So I'm going to do that in the next segment. And so stay tuned. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back in a bit here. Thanks.